Okay, so this next technique is a little tricky. So I want you to watch carefully as I do this one. So it's called running. So we're going to paint some an area down. So I'm going to mix a little pile of paint on my palette, enough to cover my area here, which is going to be this whole square. I want to make sure my brush is pretty loaded with paint. And again, this all has to be done while it's wet. So if you let it dry, you have to start all over again. Okay, so I'm going to fill in this area here with my paint. I want to get a little bit darker than that. It's going to show up a little bit better. Yeah, okay, nice and dark. There we go. So I'm going to go with this blue. Paint this whole area in. Okay, make sure it's evenly wet, no puddles, but wet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a puddle. So I'm going to clean out my brush, get it loaded with just clean water, and just run a bead of water across it in a couple of spots. Okay, so I'm going to create a puddle. You can do a puddle in the middle. I'm doing 2 stripes here. And then you just let it go. Because what happens is that puddle of water, it pushes the paint to the sides. And it'll create these cool little streaks. And so you'll see it change over time. So as it begins to dry, like this will eventually look like this. And it does kind of these really cool things once it starts to dry. So, this is another example here of what happens, okay, as the water kind of runs and blends across the sides there. Okay, so this technique is called running, because the paint literally runs and just runs away from the water.